this tank here we've got a juvenile lobster, brought it in as a baby. If I just very carefully lift up this rock, you'll get a bit of a fright, but hopefully there he comes. And you'll see the beautiful blue coloration that the juveniles have. Oops, gave him a wee fright there. This is one of our quarantine tanks where we can keep animals separate from our main systems. And in this tank we've got lots and lots of thornback skate egg cases, otherwise known as mermaids' purses, and you might actually find these washed up on the beaches locally here. Most of these have got juveniles developing in them, so I don't want to handle them too much, but I do know there's some fresh ones that have gone in just the other day that were laid in our main tank, so I'll bring one of those up and let you see it up close. So here's some of our purses, and as you can see, some of them are slightly paler, and those are the ones that we've just taken out of our main tank in the last few days. So I'm just going to gently handle this one here to show you. So the thornback skate lay these beautiful purses that have 4 horns at either side. I don't know if you can really see it in this light, but there's actually a golden yolk right in the centre of that purse that lets you know that it's a properly laid egg. It's got something inside it. And what we do is we remove them from the main tank as soon as we can, just in case they get eaten by something, and we pop them in here and just leave them. And it can take 6 months, 7 months, 8 months before they actually hatch. So here I've got one that's actually already hatched, and then you can see that because first of all it's very, very light. It's lighter in the water, so it tends to float a little bit. But actually on lifting it up, if I squeeze it correctly, you might be able to see that it's actually opened. And that is because that is where the baby has swam out of this purse. So it was folded up inside there, it's now swam out of the entrance there, and that purse is now totally empty. The really good thing is you can save these purses, dry them out in a warm room, and it'll keep forever. We get lots of juvenile thornback skates being born here at the aquarium. These are all ones that have been born in the last 5 or 6 months. So we've got 17 in this tank at the moment, and we put them in these tanks as soon as they hatch, and then we keep them here until they're maybe doubled in size, and then we can think about moving them onto display. So these are all very small. They hatch out at about 3.5, 4 inches long, so very tiny little guys. And actually they don't feed for the first few weeks after they're born. They've still got a little yolk attached to them, which they can use to get nutrients for the first while. We've also got a small baby dogfish in here. This is actually a bullhuss, is its common name, and he's just a really small guy. He's not very old, and we'll keep him in here once again until he gets a little bit bigger, until we can move him onto the display. And on the baby skate, you can see the gills, these little red marks here. That's how they exchange oxygen from the water. You can see the little mouth moving. That's him sucking water in to breathe. The water goes in his mouth and out through his gills. These little dots that look like eyes aren't eyes. These are actually his nostrils. They've got a fancy name called spiracles, and that's how he sniffs when he's face down in the sand to try and find little bits of food. And in here you can actually see all of his internal organs. He's actually got a tiny little yolk spot. I'm not sure if you can see it on the video, but a tiny little yellow dot there, which is the remains of the yolk that he'd have had when he was inside his egg. And actually the little yellowy dot there is the remains of that yolk inside his stomach. He also has his walkers, as we term them, which are actually parts of his fins, but he uses those to walk around on the seabed, which you can't see usually because the fins cover them. And actually you can tell this is a boy. He's got the tiny little claspers that the males have and the females don't, either side of his tail there. So that's a little boy thornback skate.